I believe that some point in our human experience, part of that is finding ourselves, to reconnect to ourselves deep within. If you're watching this episode, perhaps a part of you inside that feels lost. You may come to the point that you don't know what you want anymore. Your life can look stable, successful, and well managed from the outside, but you notice something feels off inside. You can achieve the success on the paper. You can handle your responsibilities very well. You can keep showing up for the people who need you and keeping yourself in that version that feels good on the outside. But when you're alone with yourself, there will be this strange feeling. You feel confused, it feels empty. You can also feel heavy. You just don't know what you are doing. You can be grateful for what you have, for everything you've built outside. But at the same time, you can still feel disconnected to it. And this is what I want to talk about today. The 6 signs you've lost yourself, even you've already successful. Hello everyone, welcome back to You Can Be Healed. This is Connie. This channel is created to help you regulate your emotions, heal your past, and most importantly, to help you reset your subconscious identity so you can shift your life from the inside out. There's a lot of things that we are doing subconsciously without realizing it. And you might experience from time to time that you keep asking yourself, what's the point of keep doing this? What's the point of keep achieving? And it feels like you don't know what you want anymore. Everything is just automatic, that you're repeating the same lifestyle every single day. Something is missing inside and you can't explain it. I just want you to know this is very normal. We will all experience this stage at some point in our life. And this is where the growth or the next level of success, the next level of whatever your heart desires are there. Here are 6 signs that I often see in my one-on-one clients. I will also share a few tips with you how you can find yourself back and reconnect to yourself. So sign number 1, you no longer know what you want anymore. This can feel really confusing to so many people because you can still have goals, you can still have plans, you have your responsibilities and decisions to make in day-to-day basis. You know what needs to be handled in your work, in your family, in your relationships, in your business, in your finance, or your daily life. On the surface, it feels like it's clear. I have all these schedules. I have all these plans. I always ask my client when they come to me with a similar situation, so what do you truly want? They would tell me all the roles they're playing in different areas of their life. And I will ask them again, listen carefully. What do you yourself truly want? The roles underneath the pressure, the responsibilities, and the expectations of others. Who are you? And they will go silent. Some will get emotional because they've never truly asked themselves, apart from what they're performing outside, being that version that everyone looks up to them, but especially the capable individuals who have already accomplished a lot on the paper. Because you've been living in this lifestyle for decades, your beliefs have been programmed to fit into the society, to satisfy everyone's expectations except yours, to put others first before you. And it becomes so natural, so normal, that you forgot to ask yourself, what do you truly want? So this is why when you keep moving forward in your life, you will reach the point that you feel so stuck. Not stuck just in the outside, but feel more stuck in the inside, that the same emotional patterns keep showing up. And when that pattern shows up, you will naturally ignore it or avoid it because you've been trained to do this for so long that it becomes an emotional habit. You don't have time to sit down to ask yourself, what about me? What are my needs? What are my desires? Why I put everything I want, my feelings, the least important. You care about how others feel, how others think. But how about you? So when you don't know what you truly want anymore, it is the sign that you've been paying too much attention or doing too much on the outside for other people, and that you've missed your own needs, your own desires, your own feelings. So this is the number one sign you've lost yourself, especially when you're in silence, when you're alone at home. That's the feeling of emptiness and confusion. I'm going to share some tips with you at the end of this video, and those tips are going to help you reconnect and to find yourself again. So now, sign number 2, you feel disconnected from the life you've built outside. This sign is very obvious. You have built everything. You have everything that many people desire, and you can still feel disconnected from this life you've built. It is not you are not grateful. Instead, many people are so grateful for the life that they have, but they just cannot run away from the feeling inside that why I still feel unfulfilled and empty even I've already have the things that I want. You can still feel there's a hole inside. This is why people who are successful outside can somehow do something, harm themselves. The outsiders will not understand why, but only they know that void, the hole inside. No one will ever understand. I have few clients who have depression while they have a very successful career outside. That's the disconnection, not just from the life that they've built outside, but it's also disconnection from themselves, from love. The interesting part is we are always connected. It's like the Wi-Fi is always on. But sometimes our mind, our heart will forget to turn on the receiver. That's why when you feel I'm not connected, I'm not feeling this fulfillment, it's because the inner receiver is off. So sign number 3, you perform your life more than you live it. Performing is part of the survival mechanism. This is very common, but also important. Many people who have achieved a lot on the paper, they're extremely skilled in functioning. They know how to show up, how to communicate, how to lead, how to manage, and how to keep everything looks fine and good. From the outside, they can look mature, disciplined, and intelligent. The fact is they're really capable of doing it. But here's the nuances. You can become very good at being that successful version of you, that you forget there's a real you who also has needs, desires, emotions, feelings, who wants to be supported, to be loved, to be seen, to be understood, to be heard, and to be cared for. So this sign means you forgot how to live your life. You only remember how to perform by default in autopilot. And this is how success can slowly cost you yourself, your inner peace, your inner happiness, your inner fulfillment. The point is success is not a problem at all. Success can be very beautiful when it's connected to your real self. But when it's built from pressure, from proving yourself, from approval or emotional survival, it can become very heavy, and that's where the disconnection happens. Because the majority of your energy is focusing on performing. You forgot to enjoy the life you have built. So sign number 4 is what used to matter to you is now no longer feels the same. This often happens when you outgrow an old identity, the old version of you, but you still keep living from the old choices. This can be like the things you wanted years ago, but somehow along the way, it doesn't feel connected to you anymore. It is like there's a new version of you that has born, but this new version is living in that old house the old version of you has built. You just don't feel that you belong to this environment anymore. You also don't know what to do next. If you're in your career, you may feel that I don't feel like to work here. It doesn't excite you anymore. You just feel I want to move. I want some change in my life, but don't know what to do. If you're in this period, I would call it as an awakening period. Then you suddenly realize you want to have more in your life, more abundance, more wealth, more peace, more happiness, more love. So in this awakening period, you would feel disconnected and feel lost. You don't know what do I want now. And it's also the fear of other people's expectation. It can be your loved ones, your family. You don't want to disappoint them, but you also know part of you is craving for more, wants more. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of doubt while choosing your next goal, next path, or your next level. So sign number 5 that you've lost yourself is you keep saying, I am fine, but you are not fine at all inside. Have we all done this? Yes, of course. This sign often happens when you spend years ignoring, overriding your own inner feelings. It can be like you don't want others to worry about you. It's a habit that I'm fine, I can manage it, I can do everything on my own. This is very masculine energy. This is like if I tell others that I'm not okay, that means I am weak. I'm not capable of what I do. I'm not capable of the success that I built. So you rather just say, I'm fine. But inside, you're holding everything together for yourself. It can feel so heavy while everyone else feel that you are okay, but you are not. So you will just keep pushing through regardless of how you feel inside. You ignore your own needs. You ignore your own feelings. This is why the emotional heaviness can become physical issues later. While you're trapping so much emotions inside, when you keep putting your own feelings down, you keep disappointing yourself. This part makes you feel empty, makes you feel not being supported, not being understood inside. So sign number 6 is you keep adjusting yourself to fit into the room, the business, the relationships, or the image that you've built outside. This one is hard to recognize because it often looks like emotional intelligence. You can easily sense and read people, read the room. You can sense what other people need, what requires you to behave, to speak, to act. When this kind of adjustment becomes automatic, then your own needs, your own feelings disappear before you even notice. Like you say yes to others. Before checking with yourself, do you truly want to say yes? You manage other people's comfort, requirements, expectations before you acknowledge your own. So this sign often means that you are living through adaptation instead of your own needs. When you have spent years or even decades from choosing responsibilities, performance, approval, then choosing yourself can make you feel selfish and unfamiliar. So now these signs are all related to the subconscious identity, the identity that feels like your skin, that you don't even notice it is there to protect you. Here's one thing that is so common. You will hear people say, I am just like this. And this is so powerful because the description that you put after I am, that's your identity. The words after I am matter. You will hear people say, I am just like this. I'm stubborn. I am always overthinking. I'm too emotional. I'm bad at relationships. That is the identity that you put after I am. So how do you begin to find yourself again? If you've already tried affirmations, positive thinking, and still feel disconnected from yourself, I want you to practice to increase your awareness first. Because if you have no awareness of what is happening inside, the affirmations and the positive thinkings may not be able to help you right away because both also require the level of awareness. So look for the pattern first, and then you apply other tools to support you. Some clients told me, I've tried this, I've tried that, but it's not working because you don't know yet what to work on. What is going on inside you. You cannot go to a pharmacist and buy a medicine without knowing what are your symptoms. This is exactly why awareness is important. Here are a few practices I want you to do to help you increase the awareness and slowly find yourself and reconnect to that divine version of you. First of all, go back to I am. What do you usually say after I am? Write this down or even ask yourself how you describe yourself. We need this awareness first before we can shift the identity. You have to have the awareness of what is the role that we play when you go to work, when you have meetings, when you meet your friends. That would be like a different identity that we're playing in day-to-day basis. How do you always describe yourself? I'm always late. I'm emotional. I'm not good with this. I'm not good with that. So find out what are the labels that you've been putting on yourself. And the second practice, I would like you to notice where you dismiss your honest answer and your true feeling. Start with the ordinary moments during the day, in your day-to-day basis. Pay attention to the first answer that came to your mind before you ignore it or edit it. There may be a moment in your day that you wanted to say no, but you somehow convince yourself to say yes. Or maybe something makes you feel uncomfortable to do, but your mind just rushes it to explain why it's fine to do that. So I want you to practice this listening to your inner voice. Your first answer when something happens or someone asks you to do something, pay attention to the first answer comes up to you. There's a pattern there. I want you to start to notice a pattern. Stop for a second before you answer, before you push through, before you committed or promise anything. Connect to yourself first, and then you can make your conscious decision from there. This is to help you practicing honoring your own feeling, your needs, your desires. Next practice is I want you to choose one small thing each day that feels right, that feels a little bit unfamiliar, a little bit uncomfortable, but that's what you truly want. For example, say what you truly mean in a conversation, sharing your feelings, sharing your opinions without trying to perform who you already are, but that version of you that you want to be seen. Start from that place so you can practice to open up to be seen, to be supported, and to be loved. And even the simple thing can be take a rest before your body has to push you to stop. Sometimes we forgot to rest until our body is screaming at us. So practice rest without feeling selfish, without having to rush the day. Finding yourself is not an overnight activity. It also requires a lot of love and patience to yourself. Imagine you've been living in this version, in this identity for decades. It feels so familiar. It feels safe. That's why so many people, they try to change the outer circumstances, changing the other people instead of themselves. But one thing that they forgot is the outside world is a mirror of your inner world. You will notice that to change the outside circumstances and change people is even much harder than change yourself because you don't really have a control outside, but you have the full control to change yourself. And guess what? When you change yourself, everything else, everyone surrounding you, they will change, they will follow. I've seen many successful cases in my clients. So my honest advice for you is change your inner world and then leave the outer world as it is. And without you even knowing it, the outer world will start to change once you shift it in yourself. That's why I've created this workbook. It's called Shift Your Identity from the Inside Out. It's a step-by-step guide to help you increase the awareness on your identity that create the current situation, the emotional patterns that limits you from achieving more, having more, and becoming more. And this workbook is a tool to help you do the foundational work, increase the awareness so you know what to shift. I will put the link in the description below. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in wherever you are. I will see you in my next episode.